morning, Tina Spalding Trance Channel here today. Not for our daily Course in Miracles lesson, of course, but to wish you a happy new year and to give you the opportunity to hear Jesus's monologue on 2020. Let's see what he has to say today. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and your calendar is a wonderful, wonderful pivot point for all of you. What is a pivot point? A pivot point is where you stop dead in your tracks and you turn in a different direction. And that is what we would like you to do today. We would like you to pivot away from the things that you know are bad for you. Whether it be an unhealthy, toxic relationship, whether it be unhealthy eating and drinking habits, whether it be unloving thoughts about a particular person, or whether it be scarcity beliefs about your lack and how you are a victim of the world. These are all states of mind that are not going to serve you in 2020. They have never served you. But it is going to become more and more apparent in 2020 as we go through the months that your state of mind, your state of being, your frequency is what is going to allow you to handle what is coming your way. Now, the ego always gets excited at the sound of something coming its way. It immediately thinks it is negative. So if your mind has gone to the negative, do not. It is going to be a challenging year. It is a year of evolution and revolution. So you are being forced to evolve. That means that you are going to get more and more challenging situations coming your way, not because God is punishing you, but because your planet is evolving into a higher level. And she wants you to come along with her into that higher level. And what does that mean? That means that you must face and eliminate from your mind that which is unloving, that which is of a low frequency, that which will not serve you in the new level of evolution. So for those of you that have been working slow and steadily towards your evolution, you are going to have a better time of it because you have been developing a spiritual toolkit. You have been figuring out where your resentments are. You have been looking at your internal world, seeing where you are negative, where you are fearful, and you have been expanding in your three-dimensional experience of your consciousness. Your life, remember, is a three-dimensional representation of your consciousness. That's what your life is. And the collective is a 3D representation of the collective consciousness. So you are not separate from the collective in the sense that you contribute to it. So we do not want you to use that as an excuse. We do not want you to say, well, if there was a different government in power, then I would be happier. It would be easier for me to have a higher frequency. No, no, no. Every single thing in the world that is counter to what you think it should be is your forgiveness practice. Every single person, place, thing, and experience that you think should not be taking place should be taking place. How do you know? It is taking place. It is happening, and therefore it is the end result of a lot of creation and miscreation. There is no point in getting upset at what is. We've said this 1,000 times. There's no point in looking at the world and getting upset at it because it is the ego's playground. It is where every frequency that you hold is represented and realized, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, it is going to show up. So when you look at your world, your life, your family, your circumstances, remember, it is you that you are seeing. And when you look at the world, it is the collective you that you are seeing. You are all connected. You are all participating in this grand design. So what does that mean for 2020? It means that when you see dysfunctional systems beginning to fall, you do not wring your hands in fear and say, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? You say, this is a good thing. That system is not a loving and kind system. It is beginning to fracture. We will draw your attention to the pharmaceutical industry, for example, where the real consequences of the pharmacy solutions that you use in your society are coming home to roost. Tens of thousands of people dying of overdoses, thousands and thousands of people addicted to substances. This is the reality of the pharmaceutical industry coming home to roost. And this is what you are going to see more and more of in 2020. So do not despair for your planet. She is on her way to a higher frequency with the assistance of incoming light from deep, deep, deep in your galaxy. And as you are like dogs, fleas on a dog, you are going to be going with her, or she will shake you off. Those are your two choices. Raise your frequency, join in the love revolution, or face dire consequences. We are not threatening you here. We are merely telling it as it is. 2020 is going to see increasing light frequencies coming to your planet, increasing agitation in all forms coming to your planet, agitation in the political area, agitation in the environmental area, agitation in the climate area. Not all of your climate agitation is due to human activity. Some of it is. Some of the messiness that's going on out there is humans' fault. There are a lot of you doing a lot of very short-sighted behaviors, and we'd like you to address those when you pivot today. But there is a general warming and agitation of your solar system coming from deep within the galaxy, and there's nothing you can do about it. So this does not mean that you fall to your knees in tears. What it means is you stop worrying about the climate as such, not because you are a climate denier. One of the great negative accusations that has been crafted, we will say, in your propaganda-ridden society. You are not allowed to question certain things in your society, and that means that they are part of a program. When you are forbidden to say something, that means that it has a tremendous amount of power over the collective, and those organizers of the collective do not want you to rattle their cage. We suggest you rattle their cage. We suggest you question everything. We suggest you ask for dreams about things. We suggest that you talk to your friends about things and say to them, let's say you are having a dinner party, and you say, let us give each other permission today to ask questions that we are scared to ask on social media or in general. Questions about difficult subjects that are coming up, and to allow a close group of trusted friends to share honestly their fears, their worries, their concerns, and those things that they are not allowed to speak about. There are things you are not allowed to speak about. You are not allowed to speak about vaccinations. You are not allowed to speak about the climate not being completely human created. There are several things you are not allowed to speak about. We want you to question them. We want you to ask. We want you to express yourselves, not in an effort to convince other people, but just so that you can be completely authentic. So back to the pivoting that we want you to do. We want you to pivot on all of those negative subjects we mentioned at the beginning. We want you to make today the day that you decide to meditate on letting go of an old resentment. Even if you feel it's justified, even if you feel that person hurt you, even if you feel that there was some sin committed against you by somebody, it is time to let it go, because it is going to be the ball and chain around your ankle, not theirs. It is going to be the ball and chain that stops you from rising up with planet Earth in her ascension process. So make today the day that you finally say, well, I've been holding on to this thing for a year or two, knowing that I should let it go. Today I let it go. And when it crosses your mind, we want you to say, I hand this relationship over to the Holy Spirit so that we can both be free. Whenever they pop into your mind, and they will begin to pop into your mind a lot if you are giving up a resentment. Why? Because the ego is kept alive by resentments, and when you stop feeding it voluntarily, it will begin to ask for food, and the ego asking for food will be constant thoughts about the person you hate or resent. And what the ego is saying is, feed me with separation, feed me with hatred, feed me with judgment. That's what I need. And when you see that thought crossing your mind, that person's image comes into your head, and you have that moment where you can choose to attack them or carry on the fantasy story you have about them in your mind, you say, I hand this relationship over to the Holy Spirit, God, all that is, Gaia, Goddess, whatever name suits your higher power, that benevolent force that you pray to. I hand this relationship over to that so that we may both be free, and so that I may rise up in frequency and join Gaia on her ascension process. The galactic speed up is well underway, and it is going to get more and more intense. We have told you this for several years now. 2020 is where you are going to see the proverbial hit the fan. We will not swear. It does not suit some people's opinion of us. However, we do feel that there is a time and place for swearing, but we won't use it here. The proverbial beep will hit the fan this year. You are going to see a lot of things rising up out of the muck and mire within your own personal lives, and within public lives, and within global situations. Prepare for it, know that it is coming, and do your clarification work beginning today. If you haven't done it already, decide which resentment, which bad habit, which dysfunctional behavior is going to go, and begin to work on it today. When you have a behavior, however, and we're not just speaking about thought here, but when you have a behavior, begin to change the behavior in your mind first. You cannot change your behavior if it is counter to a belief you hold in your mind. So you must go to your beliefs about the bad behavior, the dysfunctional actions that you are taking. Perhaps you are stealing, perhaps you are lying, perhaps you are cheating. First of all, you need to ask yourself, what is it giving me? What is it about me that is doing this? What do I think it is bringing me? When you begin to see what it is bringing you, and this will take some delving, because you will deny that it is bringing you anything. You will want to blame, you will want to do all kinds of shenanigans, but we want you to get really honest with yourself in 2020 and ask yourself, what is this negative behavior bringing me? Once you see what it is bringing you, attention, distraction, physical relief, whatever it is, then you can begin to look at what it's bringing you and see if you can give it to yourself in some other way. We are very, very happy to be here. We are very, very pleased that your society is evolving, even though in this deconstruction phase it looks like it's devolving. It is in fact shedding the old skin. Just as a snake must shed the old skin, and it feels very vulnerable, it is exposed, it is uncomfortable until the new skin is formed. You are all going through the shedding process, and 2020 will be a year in which you will feel vulnerable, in which you may feel confused, in which you may be worried or fearful. But all of those things are not going to serve you. We want you to keep in mind the idea of the snake shedding its skin. And if you need to be more gentle with yourself, take care of yourself more, that is something that we would highly recommend, so that your nervous system is soothed, so that your nervous system and your body is being given good nutrition and good sleep, all of those things. Each one of you will know what is the subject to address. It will have come up in your mind very, very quickly, whether it's your coffee habit, your alcohol habit, your infidelity, your finances. You will know what the subject is for you. We want you today to begin to hand that subject over to God, all that is, Holy Spirit, and to ask for help, to ask for guidance, and to ask yourself, what is it bringing me? What is it that I keep getting out of being poor, being fat, being angry, being deceptive, being inauthentic, whatever the issue is that came up for you, ask yourself honestly and truthfully why you're doing it. And if it's not benefiting you in the long term, many of these behaviors benefit you in the short term. The piece of cake will make you feel better in the short term, but it will not benefit you in the long term. We are seeking for slow, steady, beneficial change so that over the long term you are becoming healthier, happier, kinder, more loving, more generous with yourself and others, and that your thoughts are being addressed rather than just your behaviors. Your behaviors come from what you believe to be true about the world, and your thoughts come from your beliefs. So your behaviors come from the feelings that are generated by your thoughts. You must go deep into your mind towards the beliefs that you hold about reality so that you may change them. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and I wish you a very, very happy 2020. And I will speak to you again soon. All right, just want to remind all of you that we have created a Channeling Jesus community on Mighty Networks, and the link to our subscription page and all of the wonderful treats and videos that you can access with that subscription will be in the description box below. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.